Greetings from WWF India. We are WWF India volunteers and today we bring to you an informating and interesting video on mangroves. I am Rishika with my teammates Anandi and Sharayu. Today we will share some secrets of mystical and magical mangroves with you. But before we start, let me first tell you that this video is a part of a 6-month awareness program organized by WWF India and Godrej Voice Manufacturing Limited and Company. You can find out more about Godrej Mangroves and their work on their official websites. We'll be sharing the links, don't worry. So, mangroves are a group of salt tolerant plants and they can tolerate up to 9% of salinity. Do you know it is around 4 times as compared to terrestrial plants? Also, mangroves form an intertidal forest and they are a home to a diverse community of different animals and plants. Mangroves are known to be present on Earth since the time of dinosaurs, and that is why it has been evolved since 114 million years old. Do you also know that mangroves literally means a forest growing in the sea? The word mangrove is literally derived from a Senegalese word mangue, which means grove into the sea. Now, mangroves forest, as they are 114 million years old, they have been worshipped since ancient times. This is a mangrove temple in Chidambaram and it was built by Chol dynasty. It is one of the oldest temples. Earlier, this temple was surrounded by mangrove forest, but now this isn't the case. The priest which you see is worshipping a mangrove plant, and the name of this plant is Milky Mangrove or Exicaria agallocha. We will learn more about this in a few more minutes. Now, where do you find these forests? So, even there are many countries with coastlines. Only 117 countries are lucky enough to have mangrove jungles. If you observe carefully, they are all close to the equator. So mangroves need an optimum temperature of 24 degrees Celsius to thrive, and that's why mangroves are not found in the polar regions. We are so lucky to have mangrove forests in our country. The largest mangrove forest, the Sundarbans. The oldest mangrove forest, the Pichavaram. The largest nesting site for olive ridley turtles in Betakanika. They are all in India. Mangroves have survived a million years and they have faced many problems. So let us have a look at some difficulties that mangroves face. Now, as you might have guessed by now, mangroves are not like other plants. They have to deal with various challenges. The biggest challenge is excess salt. We can't even drink seawater, right? If salinity in the soil increases, terrestrial plants also die. But mangroves can tolerate higher levels of salinity. Not only tolerate, they thrive in such conditions. Thus, they are also called as halophytes. Another challenge is limited fresh water and thus limited oxygen. Fresh water is provided only during rains. Also, the soil is very loose. We can't even stand properly on marshy lands, and these plants have to grow there. So, let us see how these plants overcome these difficult challenges. Mangroves use 3 different mechanisms to cope up with excessive salt. First is filtration. Mangroves have halophytic roots which are composed of 3 different layers having numerous pores in them. These pores filter out excess salt. And mangroves even store salt in specialized glands called as salt glands. If you observe the stem of mangrove plant, you can see small white patches. These are nothing but the second mechanism of salt storage. Also, mangroves literally vomit salt out through their leaves. On closer observation, you can see salt crystals accumulated on the leaf surface. This is the process of excretion of salt through their leaves. Mangroves absorb salt in order to survive. Around 80% of the cell volume is covered by salt. The salt is stored in the vacuoles of leaf cells. Mangroves have to maintain a salt concentration higher than the soil itself so that they can absorb water. But all of this excess salt is regulated effectively through these 3 processes. Surprisingly, mangroves excrete almost all of the salt that they absorb. So mangroves excrete out 90% of the absorbed salts. Moving ahead, Mangroves have various types of roots, as you can see. Prop roots are horizontally spread, while stilt roots arise from basal nodes of stem near soil. Most mangroves have pneumatophores or breathing roots to absorb atmospheric oxygen in order to overcome its deficiency. Some plants have buttress roots at the base to support in loose soil. Mangroves also have long underground cable roots that absorb nutrition and form a dense network, contributing to its support system. And it has been observed during the Indian Ocean tsunami of December 2004 that mangroves were resistant to the forceful impacts of tsunami, which swept away entire villages and caused deaths of approximately 2 lakh people. Most recent example is that of Amphan cyclone. It is reported to be the most devastating tropical storm in the region since 1999. The 4,000 hectares of mangroves restored under Livelihoods Carbon Fund model, that is LCF model, are intact and they acted as bioshield. Mangroves resisted high-speed winds and no uprooting of trees was reported, according to a report. Mangroves are thus called as Coast Guard forest. Now, unlike terrestrial plants, mangroves use a unique mechanism to ensure reproduction. The seeds germinate on the mother plant itself, developing propagules with the basic root and shoot systems. These propagules fall down, fixing themselves in the soil below, growing into mature trees subsequently. This unique mechanism of reproduction is called as viviparous germination. Now, most of you might think, why are mangroves important? Do mangroves really matter? So the answer is, of course, yes. Mangroves matter a lot. So they play a crucial role in provisioning. They provide us with food and food in the form of fruits and leaves. They provide us with raw materials like timber, tannin, and fuel also. They provide medicines, livelihoods for fisher folk and tourism industry. Various research avenues and academias are also provided by mangroves. And mangroves also play a crucial role in climate regulation by prevention of coastline erosion, capturing carbon dioxide, which is the greenhouse gas responsible for climate change. Do you know Indian mangroves absorb around 93 million tons of carbon dioxide daily? That is why they are also regarded as the most intense carbon sink in the world. And also mangroves provide habitat to various animals. You can find terrestrial diversity, aquatic diversity, coastal diversity, and even intertidal diversity in the mangroves. They also have a cultural importance, as I already said that mangroves were worshipped since ancient times. The temple which you see here is the temple in Sundarbans known as Bana Bibi temple. Peoples in the ancient times have worshipped mangroves and even the animals living in them. Now, this was all about the mangroves and their importance. Now, let us have a look at some Indian mangrove species. Around 46 species are found in India, and this makes up about 57% of the entire world. So the first species which we will discuss is called as Avicennia marina or grey mangrove, and it is the commonest on west coast of India. This plant is a source of fuel, timber, and tannin. The pickles, the fruits of this plant are used to form pickles, and this plant is medicinally important as it is used as abortives on wounds and also on fish bites. This species is known to effectively reduce the effects of cyclones and tsunamis. The next plant is Soneraceae opetala or mangrove apple. This plant is identified by prominent knee roots and it grows in unstable conditions. That is why it is preferred for afforestation. This species is called as pioneer species and it is used for construction and also for furniture Now the next species is Soneraceae alba or mangrove apple. This species is important because This species is the state official mangrove tree of Maharashtra, and our state is the first one to do so. Do you know why Maharashtra has done this? This is because this species is neither extremely rare nor too common. This is one of the reasons why government of Maharashtra chose this species as the first as a state official mangrove tree. Also, this plant grows in unstable conditions, and that is why it is also preferred for afforestation. This plant is pollinated by bats. Going to our next species is Aegiceras corniculatum or river mangrove. This plant has very beautiful flowers, and even bees are attracted to this plant. It is grown for apiculture, honey, wood, tannin, and also for beeswax. This plant grows in less saline area, and the bark of this plant is used as a fish poison. Now moving on, orange mangrove or Brugueria cylindrica is a source of firewood and charcoal. Again, you can see knee roots are used for identification of this plant. The leaves of this plant are a cure for blood pressure, and also they are used to stop bleeding. Next plant is Rhizophora mucronata or red mangrove. This plant is a member of family Rhizophoraceae, and it is used as a mosquito repellent. It is medicinally important as it is a cure for diabetes, dysentery, diarrhea, and even hemorrhage. It is identified by reddish stem, its prominent still roots, and pointed leaf apex. Another plant is Exicaria agalocha or milky mangrove. This plant is involved in various folk tales, and the latex, rightfully said, causes skin irritation and also temporary blindness. The sap of this plant is used to treat toothache, and it is medicinally important as its latex is also applied to ulcers and also used in medicines for leprosy and paralysis. It is also used as fish poison. Coming to the next plant, Salvadora persica or meswak. Now, meswak, the same meswak that is a toothpaste. So, this species is medicinally important, and it is an important ingredient for various toothpaste. It is also used for manufacturing soap, and many migratory birds, which Saryu will shortly tell us, love the juicy red berries. The leaves of this plant are eaten as vegetables, and also they are used for making salads. The decoction of the leaves are used in curing asthma and cough. This plant is medicinally very important. This takes us to our last mangrove species, which is Acanthus ilisifolius or sea holly. This species is an indicator. Large presence of this species indicates that mangrove ecosystem is in danger, and these plants are a sign of succession. Though they are medicinally important, because the leaves are used in snake bite treatment, and its fruit pulp is used as blood purifier and also in the treatment of rheumatism. Now, this was all about what mangroves are, why they are important, about their difficult life, and some mangrove species which are found in India. Now, let us see which animals call mangroves their homes. Shariu?
Yes, thank you, Rishika. So, we'll now look at the faunal diversity of these mangrove ecosystems. So, there are so many interesting creatures living in this mangrove ecosystem. As you all know, Sundarban mangrove forest in West Bengal is a home for Bengal tiger and also for variety of birds, reptiles, and invertebrates. So, let us go by one. So, as you can see in this video, this is a mudskipper fish that they have they are very uniquely adapted among all the fishes. So it is an amphibious fish which lives in water and can also spend more amount of time out of the water. They use their fins for walking on land. One interesting fact about these fishes is they can look above the water and below the water at the same time. Then the next video is of another interesting creature. It is a fiddler crab. So fiddler crab burrows increase oxygen dispersion in mangrove sediments, also promote ion reduction nitrification process. Therefore, it is expected to accelerate decomposition rate. So in this video, which shows the detritus food chain, the food chain of a mangrove forest relies heavily on recycling of detritus made by the falling leaves of the trees or the fruits. So this role is mainly done by the smaller creatures such as burrowing crabs and shrimps. And the top level predators of this food chain are wading birds such as egrets and ospreys. So there are some mangrove indicator species. Now what are indicator species? So indicator species means if the population of the particular species is higher in number, then you can say that the ecosystem is healthy. So we'll go one by one. As you can see here, the first picture, there are beautiful birds called, they are rosy starlings. So these are migratory birds and they visit various Indian mangrove forests. So they perform a coordinated aerial dance, which is a very good eyesight for all bird lovers. So they visit in India in February to mid-April, which coincides with the flowering of certain trees and fruiting of meswak plant, as Rishika had told us. Then there are various shells, butterfly species like salmon Arab butterfly, fiddler crabs, other birds like white-cheeked bulbul. They are also indicator species. Then one more interesting creature, as you can see in this slide, is a painted grasshopper. It is a very large, brightly colored grasshopper. These insects, they feed on poisonous calotropis or rui plant. So his bright color is saying that stay away from me. That is the indicator for other species to stay away from him. Then there are some other species which are like wild boar, golden jackal, mongoose, which are called as adaptive species because they have adapted to these complex ecosystems of mangroves. There are huge number of fishes residing in these mangroves. So they lay their eggs in the tangled roots of mangrove trees, as you have seen in the earlier slides. So later they hatch and grow with necessary nutrients available in the ecosystem. So these ecosystems act as a natural nursery grounds. Then there is the unknown world of interesting small creatures like signature like spiders. One of them in the left corner is a signature spider. So this spider constructs webs in bushy vegetations. It has X-shaped structure and that is called as a signature. Then other spiders are like wool spider. They are ground living spiders. Then jumping spiders, weaver spiders, and one more interesting spider is Cyclosa spider. So this spider decorates web with trash or insect remains which bound with its silk. So you can see how efficiently these creatures use all the resources of their ecosystem. So this was about the faunal diversity of these mangroves. Let us look at what are the threats to these mangroves. So the main threat is encroachment. As we humans are building our homes and new industrial buildings, so which is leading to the destruction of these mangrove ecosystems. Then untreated sewage, which goes from our homes to rivers and to these sea waters is creating a huge impact on these mangroves. Then tree cutting, land reclamation are also one of the main reasons. Then the increasing population increasing population is leading to the increase in food need. That is why the creation of fish farming, crab farming. So these are also threats to these mangrove ecosystems. Then there are some legal protections for these mangrove ecosystems. So there are various legislations to protect these mangroves through coordinated actions of mangrove cell of the forest department, revenue departments, police departments, and in Maharashtra, there are coastal zone management authority, and also stakeholders play their important role. So we will look at now at the acts which are there for these mangrove ecosystems. So the Environment Protection Act 1986 has a crucial role in the conservation and management of mangrove ecosystems. It declares that coastal regulation zone in which untreated water and effluents, dumping of waste, land reclamation are restricted in order to protect the coastal environment. So coastal stretches are classified into four categories, and mangroves are included at the most ecologically sensitive category. Then, so the coastal regulation zone and notification come under the Environment Protection Act. Then there are other acts in, so there are various acts in all the states. So Maharashtra state has this Maharashtra Tree Act. Then Water Act and Wildlife Protection Act also have role in the conservation of these mangrove ecosystems. The government has introduced a scheme for mangrove conservation and protection, which includes identification of selected mangrove area for conservation, preparation of a management plan, uh, promotion of research, adoption of multidisciplinary approach involving state governments, universities, research institutes, and local organizations. So this was about what government is doing for the conservation of these mangroves. Now, how can you protect these wetlands and mangroves at your individual level? So the basic thing is about the awareness. As we are creating this video for all the viewers, so taking information and insight from this video, you can also uh, aware about these mangroves to people near you, your friends, family members. Then the second thing is research. So where various scientists are studying these mangroves or the various faunal diversity, plant diversity for their conservation. Then you can also register complaints to the forest department or the your respective government bodies in your states if any destruction is happening to the wetlands. Then the next thing is about cleanup drives. So many organizations have cleanup drives like beach cleanup drive, riverside cleanup drive. You can participate in such drives in your city and can also suggest your relatives, friends who live near coastal areas. One of the major things is sewage, our drainage water. So from morning to night, we use many products like detergents, shampoos, toilet cleaners, so which ultimately goes to the river and seas. So less use of these products or slowly shifting to use of organic products is what you can decide to follow. I know it is not easy, but you can start doing it on your level because it is for your and environment's good health, right? Then you can recycle and reuse many small things like kitchen waste and less use of plastic. And the last point is waste segregation. So it is also important to segregate your waste before giving it away. So that was about it. So what you can do at your individual level. Also, the Godrej Group has created this app called Godrej app, which has information about the Godrej mangrove ecosystems in all the regional language. So we'll be providing this link for the app in the description box. Also, we have also the Godrej Group have their website called www.godrejmangrove.com. So we'll also be providing this link in the description box. They have some interesting books to read and information for you guys.
We also have a questionnaire for those who are not afraid to test their knowledge about mangroves. You will find all these links which we have mentioned in the description. Now,
Okay, so in the end, I would like to say something. So these mangroves are the shore keepers of our coastal lines, and these rich ecosystems support the planet and people in unique ways, from providing breeding grounds for fishes to carbon storage to protection against flooding. So even though if some of us don't live near coastal areas or we live near coastal areas, all of us are somehow connected to these ecosystems. So the 2nd February is World Wetland Day. So on this occasion, let us come together for a small change because every individual matters.
rightly said, Charyu. We hope that this video is helpful for us. Thanks for watching and learning. Now it's time to act. Act wisely, share this video, spread awareness. Thank you.